All right. Lots and lots of talk about the sweet, precious couple that was brutally murdered yesterday. And we talked about them yesterday. This is Yaron and Sarah. And now we're starting to learn a lot more about their final posts, for example, where there's actually a video from 8 years ago of Sarah being talked to by a local news outlet about her fear of even attending synagogue. This was 8 years ago.
Oh
and when you
God.
think about how much things have changed, it's just so
it's
so
sick.
sad. It's sad and sick and all of those things. So Yaron, apparently his final post on X was a retweet. And here it is. He was retweeting Ambassador Amir Weisbrod, who said, at the UN relief chief, your declaration that 14,000 babies are at risk of dying in Gaza in the next 2 days is a blood libel. All UN organizations have obligations to be neutral and impartial. You are breaching constantly these obligations. Your reports are founded on lies and on Hamas numbers. And of course, you never talk about Hamas or other terrorists and how they use hospitals, schools, and shelters in Gaza as human shields. Enough is enough. You should be accountable for the disinformation that you and the UN spread. And as that was his last repost, that he was warning that this hoax, all these blood libels are what is going to get innocent people killed. And then he, of course,
and then he was killed.
It's just so sad.
Yeah, what a beautiful couple.
Oh my gosh.
Right.
Yeah. And then Sarah, this was what I was just telling you about, how 8 years ago, she was only 17 and she was interviewed by local news because there was anti-Semitic graffiti that was found at her high school in Kansas. And it's a very, very short clip, but here is what she said 8 years ago.
This is the first time senior Sarah Milgram has felt unsafe at school.
You know, I worry about going to my synagogue and now I have to worry about safety at school, and that shouldn't be a thing.
It should not be a thing.
It should.
8 years ago. And when I think about how much things have devolved, I mean,
right. It should be the opposite.
Yeah.
And it's not. Yeah.
Oh my God. It's just so frustrating.
What the heck?
I don't know the name of this fellow that you're about to hear from, but this was a guy on that I saw on X yesterday, just talking about how this was, I mean, this is basically inevitable when you have this amount of blood libel being spread, all this disinformation, all this hatred towards Israel. It should come as no surprise that that's where that leads. And he says it a lot better than I do. Here he is.
What happened last night, where a young couple by the name of Sarah and Yaron, ages 20 and 24, were murdered in cold blood. 2 Israelis in DC were murdered by a man yelling "Free Palestine." The level of propaganda that is out there, that is spreading all these lies about the state of Israel, is on such a high level that it has gotten people to a point where they are willing and able and happy to go out and slaughter innocent Israelis because of the lies that they're hearing. Such a sad situation. And this guy who did the murder obviously should be in prison for the rest of his life, and a lot more should happen to him that I can't say on social media. But the people that are spreading lies about Israel, that are fueling people like this, these psychopaths, they're the ones that really, really, really need to be held accountable. The people that are spreading lies, Israel's an apartheid state, Israel's doing a genocide, Israel's colonial state, all these lies are saying about Israel is what's fueling the anger towards Israel, to the Jewish people. It is videos like that, those people on social media, which is such a powerful tool, that is what's fueling this anger and fueling this hate. There needs to be a level of accountability for these people that are spreading these lies and spreading the hatred towards Israel and the Jewish people. May the memory of Sarah and Yaron be blessed, and may we have the power to continue fighting false information and anti-Semitism. Stay strong. I'm Yisrael Chai.
They won't be held accountable. They won't. The problem is that there's so many people that just cannot think critically anymore.
Yeah.
You know, they just listen to this garbage and they're like, yeah, it's not true. None of it's true.
Yeah. God, and I saw it's so, I mean, there was like an Instagram, I almost included it, but then I thought it's impossible to read it on a screen. But there was like an Instagram video of just a woman giving the news, like telling the news report about how that couple had been brutally murdered. And then all the comments underneath it were like praising the killer, almost universally. And I was like, what is happening? I mean, how have we gotten this sick?
I know. Anti-Semitism is just rampant. And you know
It's
what? People
awful.
on our side are engaging in it. And that's
Yeah.
what makes me just sick. It just makes me sick.
Yeah. Well, we'll have a couple of examples of that
Mhm.
in just a
Yeah.
minute. But first, let's hear from our friend of the show, Eitan Chitayat, who is an Israeli who we had on our radio program like forever and ever ago. He's also been on our podcast not terribly long ago, sometime after October 7th. And he released a video and he's so good. I mean, he's so good at
Yeah,
articulating
he
what's
is.
going on. Although hide your kids, hide your wives, because Eitan has been known to use some language,
Mhm.
and rightly so in a case like this. Here he is.
So we woke up in the middle of the night at 3 a.m. because the Houthis launched yet another ballistic missile attack. And we woke up to the awful news that last night 2 young staffers from the Israeli embassy were shot and killed outside a Jewish event in Washington, D.C. They just left a humanitarian gathering at the Capitol Jewish Museum, an event focused on turning pain into purpose. And one of them had just bought the other a ring, and he was planning to propose next week in Jerusalem, Yaron to Milikim. The shooter opened fire at close range, and as he was arrested, he chanted, "Free Palestine, free Palestine." So let's be clear. This wasn't resistance. This wasn't protest. This was cold-blooded murder. And it didn't just happen in a war zone. It happened on the steps of a Jewish museum in the capital of the United States during an event centered on cross-faith cooperation and aid, positivity. This is where we are. Peaceful protest stops being peaceful the moment it gives cover to violent ideology, because violence always follows. If your rhetoric dehumanizes Jews, if your cause requires you to cheer for murder, if your silence excuses the killing of a young couple simply for being Israeli and Jewish, then your movement isn't about justice, it's about vengeance, motherfucker. We are seeing a dangerous trend. The line between political cause and murderous hate is blurring, and too many people are letting it happen. Too many people are silent, or they're rationalizing it, justifying it, or even glorifying it.
Yeah.
God, he's so good.
And they're rationalizing it because they're like, I mean, it's just the Jews.
Yeah.
It's what they do. That's what
Or they're
people do.
rationalizing it by completely removing the focus on where it should be and saying and spouting off UN talking points about that are using Hamas numbers when it comes to what's happening in Gaza. And they forget why what's happening in Gaza is happening.
Exactly.
I mean,
precisely.
The whole reason it's happening, the whole reason that there's war there right now is because of October 7th. And like people just
do we need to remind people
it.
that they took babies and put them in ovens? I guess we can say that, and we can remind people of that because people forget, you know?
Yeah, they absolutely do.
It's gross.
When there's news like this kind of just sickening, like gross feeling in your stomach news, there's a really good thing that you can do, which is immerse yourself in something positive. And one of the things that's really positive, well, basically everything that comes out of Angel Studios is always positive. It's always like uplifting stories. I mean, granted, they covered tough topics, but Angel Studios, with all of the movies, with all the shows that they produce, there's always a message of hope and of positivity. And today is actually the day when The Last Rodeo comes out in theaters. And so you and I had an opportunity to pre-screen it, which was really, really cool.
It's really good. And you know what?
And it's a feel-good movie.
You can take your kids, you know, and your grandkids, and you can feel good about doing that. It's like a lot of movies, you just can't do that anymore. And so that's why I like Angel Studios, is because they produce stuff that's family friendly.
Yeah.
It's a great movie. Plus Neil McDonough's in it, and he's kind of hot, lady. Put that out there. His blue eyes, you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying.
Not my type, but
Yeah.
you do you. I know you like a cowboy, and that's exactly what he is in this movie.
Plays a lot of psychos in other movies too, and I'm all for it. Yeah.
But of course, Angel Studios is who also brought Sound of Freedom, that After Death movie that we both also really, really liked. And right now you can get 2 free tickets to The Last Rodeo when you become a premium member of the Angel Studios Guild. You can visit angel.com/chicks to sign up. And by the way, you also will then get free tickets to all of their movies that come out in the theaters. You'll get 2 free tickets to all of them when you're a premium member. And the coolest part about membership is that you actually get to vote on proposed new films.
Yes.
So there might, like, all these people come to Angel Studios with ideas for movies, and they say, what do you think about this proposed movie? And the members of Angel Studios, which is what you become when you sign up for the guild, you get to vote on what movies you want to see made. So you have like a direct hand in it, which is so cool.
It is so cool.
Yeah. So think about membership. Visit angel.com/chicks and sign up. All right, Dave Portnoy, being a voice of reason on this issue, please read his tweet.
A domestic terrorist went hunting Jews last night in Washington, D.C., open firing outside a Jewish event, killing 2 Jews. The terrorist, Elias Rodriguez, yelled, "Free Palestine," as he got arrested. This type of tragedy is the natural progression of events when the morons running our colleges, far-left politicians, and hate merchants on social media continue to normalize and seemingly encourage anti-Semitism in this country. The least surprising part about this tragedy is that the killer hated America long before the conflict in the Middle East. He was an active member of the Party for Socialism and Liberation and the People's Congress of Resistance. What the hell even are those? Sorry.
Terror groups?
Right, exactly. He was a serial agitator, as so many of the Free Palestine movement are. For them, this isn't just about the war in Gaza. This is about hating America and our way of life. Yes. And the more that anti-Semitism is normalized in this country, the more it emboldens these lunatics to commit these heinous acts. The bottom line is that nobody in this country should be intimidated or fear for their safety because of their religion. But here we are.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Well said, Dave Portnoy.
It's interesting. You just don't see this happening on the flip side. You know, you don't, like, when you see, say, you know, a bunch of people that are Muslim coming into Dallas and building all of these structures and doing all of these things, right? You don't see Christians going out and being lunatics. You just don't. I'm putting it out there. You don't do it. You don't. So, but when you see these guys, I say these people that are so entrenched in all of this hate and this, I hate America, I hate Jews, I hate this, I hate that. And everybody's like, I mean, it's just free speech. It's just, they're allowed to do it. It's okay. It's like, they're emboldened. And it's gross because they're able to rationalize, and we're seeing it rationalized so much on the right. It's run rampant that I don't like. How do you stop that? How do you put the toothpaste back in the tube? I just don't know how to do it.
But you have to do, excuse me, like what Eitan said, and what, I mean, there has to be loud voices calling it out and condemning it, as many as there are that are preaching all the hate, like Stu Peters and Candace Owens and all these people. There has to be a counterbalance. And because it's true what Dave says, the more that this is normalized, the more that these lunatics get emboldened. And so there has to be enough people that are not quiet, that are saying, this is effing wrong. This is crazy. Just imagine if we were talking, if the group was just Black people. Imagine if it was a different marginalized group that was being targeted in this way. No one would stand for it. And so why are we standing for it when it's Jewish people? It
happens. And it's getting worse and worse and worse.
It absolutely is. And then the New York Times, because they can always be relied on to be insane. I couldn't even believe this headline. It defies sense. But they said the FBI seeks motive after 2 Israeli embassy aides are killed. And then the subheading says a suspect shouted free Palestine while being arrested. I mean,
okay.
Your motive is right there. Like,
but it just shows you New York Times is part of the problem. It just shows you our mainstream media is part of the freaking problem.
Yeah.
Gosh. Stop rationalizing. Stop downplaying and rationalizing. Just call it what it is. It's terrorism. That's
and
what
I'm sorry,
is.
but like, it's not a suspect. The guy said, I did it.
Right.
I mean,
I totally agree. They're like, oh, but you need to have due process, Mark. Okay.
I mean, if the killer is saying, hey, I'm the killer, hey, it's me, and he just got done saying, I did it for Gaza, And free
Free
Palestine.
Palestine, right.
There's just not a whole lot of doubt about the motive. My
Right.
God.